When INFJs and INTJs take on leadership roles, they don't just lead teams. They reshape worlds, each in their own way. Both types are rare. Both are intuitive, future-focused, and driven by internal visions that most people never see. But beneath the surface, they are building very different futures for very different reasons. This is not just about personality. It's about how inner wiring shapes real-world power. In this video, we'll explore 5 deep psychological differences between INFJ and INTJ leaders. Differences that affect how they inspire, decide, handle crisis, and shape their legacy. At the core of leadership lies purpose. Why do we lead? What is the fuel behind the vision? For the INFJ, it's meaning. These leaders are often compelled by a felt injustice, an emotional calling, or a sense that something in the human condition must be healed or elevated. Leadership becomes a moral mission, an effort to realign people, culture, or institutions with a higher sense of humanity. The INTJ, by contrast, is not drawn to leadership by feeling, but by structure. They see inefficiencies, broken systems, unrealized potential, and they step in to build what should exist. Their drive isn't personal. It's architectural. INFJs want to change people's experience of the world. INTJs want to change how the world itself works. An INFJ might launch a nonprofit to restore dignity in marginalized communities. An INTJ might design a platform that redefines how logistics, learning, or governance operates. This difference in motivation is mirrored in how each type engages emotionally. INFJ leaders are emotionally perceptive. Their strength lies in noticing subtle undercurrents. A team's fatigue, a stakeholder's hidden resistance, a culture's invisible trauma. They don't just care. They feel the room. And they often lead by aligning people's hearts with the mission. INTJ leaders, while equally committed to vision, maintain emotional distance. It's not that they lack empathy. It's that they prioritize mental clarity over emotional navigation. Feelings are data points, not guiding stars. Their presence can feel detached, but it's often a deliberate choice to keep the course steady, especially under pressure. INFJs lead through shared emotional purpose. INTJs lead through focused strategic execution. Decision-making reveals the invisible frameworks that each type trusts. INTJs lean heavily on internal logic. They analyze trade-offs, isolate inefficiencies, and move forward with speed and precision. If a decision supports the long-term blueprint, it's implemented, even if it ruffles feathers in the short term. INFJs, on the other hand, filter decisions through emotional and ethical resonance. They ask, does this respect the human dimension? Will this preserve trust, morale, values? This doesn't mean they're indecisive, but that their decisions often unfold more slowly, with deeper emotional calibration. Where INTJs optimize, INFJs harmonize. Crises don't create leaders. They reveal them. When stress peaks and systems fracture, INTJs shift into strategic lockdown. They zero in on the root cause, isolate threats, and take bold action. Emotions become noise. What matters is restoring function, control, and direction. INFJs shift into relational containment. They absorb emotional tension, try to preserve morale, and prevent fragmentation of the group. They are more likely to hold space before taking action, trying to stabilize the emotional architecture first. INTJs bring surgical precision. INFJs bring emotional containment. One neutralizes the threat, the other protects the community. In the end, all leadership is judged by what it leaves behind. INFJ leaders think in terms of legacy of meaning. They want to be remembered as catalysts for justice, compassion, or cultural evolution. Even if the work was hard, if one soul was changed, it was worth it. INTJs think in terms of legacy of structure. They want to leave behind a working system, something that stands on its own, that doesn't depend on their presence to thrive. Impact is measured in durability. Both types look to the horizon, but the INFJ looks at what hearts will remember, while the INTJ looks at what systems will still run. INFJ and INTJ leaders walk toward the future, but not on the same road. One listens to the emotional pulse of a people. The other scans the architecture of a system. One leads through connection, trust, and emotional truth. The other through logic, vision, and precise execution. Their strengths are different, but not opposite. They are complementary mirrors of visionary leadership. When they understand each other, they don't compete. They collaborate. And when they lead with self-awareness, they don't dominate. They transform. If you're fascinated by the inner lives of rare minds and how they move the world in different ways, subscribe to Inside INFJ and INTJ Minds, where deep psychology meets real-world impact.